AITA for changing my mind and not letting a couple adopt my baby? My 29F husband died unexpectedly a few months ago. I was obviously devastated and still am. I didn't eat much for a while and didn't really keep track of anything, so at first I didn't realize that I didn't get my period. Well, I was pregnant. Having lost my husband and being alone and a mess, I didn't think I could give this baby what it deserves and decided to give it to a loving family. I got matched with a lovely couple. Apparently, they have tried to adopt before, but it fell through, so they made me promise that I wouldn't change my mind. I promised, which was stupid. I can see that now. I gave birth to my son 2 days ago, and honestly, the moment I heard him cry, I knew I couldn't give him up. He is my and my husband's flesh and blood. I swear to good he has my husband's dimples. I just can't give him away. I feel so horrible. When I told the couple, they both started crying and asked me to think about it. They have already prepared everything for my son's arrival. They came to the hospital with a car seat. And they would be great parents. The woman sent me a long message how she really hopes I will change my mind and that they're approaching 40 and this might be their last chance to adopt a baby. It's just all around heartbreaking. But I can feel that my baby belongs with me. I am financially comfortable, and both my parents and my husband's parents will be wonderful grandparents. They want to be involved and are willing to help with babysitting. Would I be the arsehole if I kept my baby despite promising that I wouldn't change my mind? Nah. Of course they're disappointed. But this is always a possible outcome for adoption. My heart breaks for all of you. But no. You are not doing anything wrong. Congrats and your little one. Regardless of what the internet says. If you want to keep your baby, keep your baby. There is always a risk the mother will change her mind, and they understood that going in. Good luck. Nah. This situation is just heartbreaking. But there aren't any outcomes that will work for everyone. You changed your mind and it's your baby. I'm so sorry for your loss. And I'm sorry for theirs as well. Nah. Gosh, they're not the assholes for being upset the adoption fell through, and you're not an asshole for realizing you can't give up your baby. There's a reason that a grace period exists for people to give up their babies. Attachment to a baby can change drastically from pregnancy to birth. It's sadly just how it works with trying to adopt a newborn baby. Nah. Just because something is sad and disappointing doesn't mean someone else was in awe. No one owes them a baby. You made a promise and you meant it, and it's sad to go back on it. But it's not different than when people to promise to love someone forever and then fall out of love, etc. They can't give them the rest of their life just because they promised, and you can't give up the baby you love just because you're promised. I hope they find the baby they want, but you don't have to give them yours. She's a bit of an off for the guilt trip and trying to make you feel like her age and desire for a baby means you should give her yours. But I understand she was in mourning. Just like you were when you made your promise. And they probably should have protected themselves more from disappointment, recognizing how vulnerable you were at the time. So I guess a mild EHS, but forgivably so. Write an apology. Block them. Love your baby and enjoy this new life and love in your life. Nah. This is a heartbreaking situation for them as well as for you. Nah, you thought you could do it. But it turned out you couldn't. There's a reason these agreements aren't legally binding. I hope they have the decency to not hound you anymore about this. While I'm sure they're devastated. You shouldn't be guilt-tripped for changing your mind. Best of luck to you and your new baby. Nah. One caveat, though: if they paid for any of your doctor visits, transportation fees, basically anything, you need to return their money. Even if it's in installments. I adopted a child from foster care. He was only 14 months. And my state, MA, had no firm age limits on the parents. We just needed to get a health form from the doctor that listed any conditions we might have had. I would guess this varies from state to state. But I very much doubt that foster care would turn away healthy parents in their 40s to 50s. In fact, the foster home my son came from had a couple that were in their 60s with grown kids and grandkids. And congratulations on your baby. NTA. But did you go through an agency? They should take over the contact with them going forward. No, honey. Keep your baby. We're adoptive parents. And during the entire process, adoptive parents are told over and over that it is quite common for the birth mother to change her mind. And it is absolutely 100% her right to do that. We actually had 2 adoptions fall through. And it was hard for us. But we completely understood. In fact, the baby we did adopt, that adoption almost fell through too. We were broken-hearted, but, again, we would have understood. It's not about us. It's about the birth mother doing what feels right to her. They may have asked for a promise, but it should have been clear to them that this wasn't a promise they could expect of anyone. And the adoption agency should have made that clear to them, too. Perhaps it did. No decent adoptive parent would want a baby against the birth mother's will. I understand how they feel. But the adoptive couple is completely out of line here. Not only have they been told what might happen, but also their rationale is wrong. Many adoptive couples are older. Because they've been trying to have their own baby for years. We adopted at 42. This isn't their last chance to adopt. And nothing is stopping them from adopting a child out of the foster system. Of course you should keep your baby. NTA. Nah. While you shouldn't have made a huge decision at such an emotional and fragile state, you have the right to keep the baby. The other couple has a right to feel very sad. But there are thousands of children waiting to be adopted, so they aren't totally out of luck. NTA. But guess who is? The agency who pushed ahead with matching you to potential parents while you were in a state of grief. Grief is complex, and that agency took advantage of you to try and make a disappointed couple happy. I hope that having a tie to your husband through your child provides a loving path forward for you. I am so sorry for your loss. Nah. This hurts and is painful for all involved. I hope you can seek out grief counseling and get the support you need to raise your baby. Typically, there's a social worker in a hospital you can talk to in difficult situations. If you're still at the hospital, please ask your nurse for a social worker. NTA. And this is exactly why pre-birth matching is not allowed in most countries. It is not your responsibility to give these people a baby. It's totally understandable that they are upset, but trying to guilt you is unacceptable. It doesn't matter if you are perceived as an asshole. Keeping that baby means more than anything else. Nah. They are understandably hurt, but that's a risk of arranging an adoption before the baby is born. They can still adopt and could adopt a child at any age. Adoption isn't only for newborns, and if they really just want a child to love, then yours isn't their only option. They shouldn't be trying to guilt-trip you into giving up your baby that you want to keep. Also, you agreed to the adoption under duress while grieving the unexpected death of your husband. It's not a surprise at all that you'd change your mind once your grieving had more time to settle. Nah. What adoption agency lets a new widow sign up with someone before her baby is born? That seems incredibly irresponsible. and to match her with a couple who have had people pull out before. It seems very badly planned. I feel for the couple, but also feels like as a recent widow you were low-key taken advantage of. I am sorry for the loss of your husband. No one can tell you what to do. But if you want your child, then keep your child. You knew when you heard them cry. That's your baby. That's your husband's baby. That's your love shining through all the darkness. My opinion, but we strangers cannot tell you what's best, only you can truly decide. The adoption agency honestly should have done a lot more work here. Connecting a recent widow with a couple seemed hasty. That's on their end. I feel they failed you and the couple. Congrats and your new little one. I wish you both and your families all the best. Nah. Just do not let the couple harass you over your decision. This is not their choice. Make. If they do reach out to the agency and ask for intervention, the couple can still adopt. They can have another chance, as hard as it may seem. And honestly, children, not just infants, need loving homes too. Info. What has the adoption agency been doing the whole time? NTA either way, but I'm curious.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic AITA is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.